I still remember that night like it was burned into my chest. It was my 22nd birthday, and I was sitting alone at a table meant for two. The candle on my cake had already melted into wax tears. My phone screen kept lighting up, but never with the name I was waiting for. Ethan. My boyfriend of 3 years. The guy who promised me, "This birthday will be different. I've got something special planned." Yes, special. I checked the time again. 9:47 p.m. He was almost 2 hours late. At first, I told myself he was stuck in traffic. Maybe work ran late. Maybe he was preparing some kind of surprise. But deep down, I knew something wasn't right. Because this wasn't the first time. Ethan had been distant for weeks. Late replies. Cancelled plans. Phone always face down. And every time I asked, he'd just smile and say, "Babe, you're overthinking again." Maybe I was. Or maybe I just didn't want to see the truth. The waiter came over giving me that look. You know the one. That soft pity smile. "Do you want me to wrap this up for you?" he asked gently. I forced a smile. "Yeah, I think I'm done waiting." The words tasted bitter in my mouth. Just as I reached for my bag, the door swung open. I froze. But it wasn't Ethan. It was Lily, my best friend since high school. Her eyes locked onto mine immediately, and something about her expression made my stomach drop. She looked nervous, almost guilty. "Hey," she said, walking over quickly. "You're still here." I blinked. "Yeah, I thought you had work tonight." I did." She sat down across from me without asking. That's when I noticed her hands shaking. "Where's Ethan?" she asked, even though I could tell. She already knew. I let out a dry laugh. "Good question." Silence fell between us. Heavy. Uncomfortable. The kind of silence that feels like it's hiding something. "Listen," Lily finally said. Her voice was lower now. "Careful. I didn't want to tell you like this." My heart skipped. "Tell me what?" She hesitated. And in that moment, I swear I could hear my own heartbeat in my ears. Loud. Fast. Warning me. "Emma," she whispered, leaning closer. "I saw Ethan tonight." I frowned. "Okay. Where?" She swallowed hard. "At another restaurant." Something inside me tightened. "Doing what?" Lily looked away for a second, then back at me. And I knew, before she even said it. "I wasn't alone," she said. I felt like the air had been sucked out of the room. "No, iwisparat." "No, you're wrong." "I wish I was." "Who was he with?" I asked, even though my voice was already breaking. Lily didn't answer right away. And that silence said everything. "Lily." My hands were shaking now. "Who was he with?" She took a deep breath. And then she said a name I never expected. "Jessica." I froze. "Jessica?" No, that didn't make sense. Jessica was my coworker. The girl who always laughed at my jokes. The one who helped me pick out this dress. The one who said, "Ethan's lucky to have you." My vision blurred. No, that's not possible." Lily reached for my hand, but I pulled away. "Emma, I saw them. They were holding hands." I shook my head violently. "You're lying." "I'm not." "You're lying." I stood up so suddenly the chair scraped loudly against the floor. People turned to look. I didn't care. This is some kind of misunderstanding. Ethan wouldn't do that to me. Not with someone you trust. Lily finished softly. That hit harder than anything else. I felt something crack inside me. Not loud. Not dramatic. Just quiet. Like glass breaking underwater. I grabbed my phone with trembling hands. Scrolled to Ethan's name. And hit call. It rang once. Twice. 3 times. Then he declined it. That was the moment. The exact second. I stopped making excuses for him. I looked back at Lily. Tears were already running down my face, but I didn't even remember when they started. "Where are they?" I asked. She hesitated. "Emma, maybe you shouldn't." "Where are they?" She closed her eyes for a second, then said, "Downtown, on 5th, the rooftop bar." I wiped my tears, grabbed my bag, and walked out, without looking back. Because if there was one thing I knew, it was this: tonight I wasn't going to be the girl who gets lied to. I don't remember how I got there. 1 minute I was outside the restaurant. The next, I was standing in front of the elevator of a rooftop bar downtown. My reflection stared back at me in the metal doors. Same dress, same makeup, same girl. But something in my eyes was completely different. The elevator dinged. Doors opened. Music hit me first. Loud, vibrating, alive. The kind of place where people came to celebrate, laugh, forget. Meanwhile, I was here to face something I couldn't unsee. I stepped out, slow, scanning every corner. Couples laughing, friends clinking glasses, strangers dancing like nothing mattered. And for a second, I almost turned back. Because a small part of me, the stupid, hopeful part, was still praying Lily got it wrong. Then I saw him, Ethan, standing near the edge of the rooftop, one hand holding a drink, the other wrapped around her waist. Jessica. My world didn't shatter this time. It just went quiet, like someone pressed mute on reality. I couldn't hear the music anymore. Couldn't hear the people. Couldn't even hear my own breathing. All I could see was them. Jessica leaned closer to him, said something. Ethan laughed. That same laugh. The one he used when he was with me. The one I thought was mine. I took a step forward. Then another. And another. Each step felt heavier than the last. But I didn't stop. Not this time. Ethan. His name left my mouth calm. Too calm. He froze. Jessica turned first. Her eyes widened instantly, like she'd just seen a ghost. Then Ethan slowly turned around. And the moment he saw me, everything changed. Emma? His voice cracked. Yeah. Say my name. Now you remember it. Silence fell between us. But this time, it wasn't heavy. It was sharp, like broken glass in the air. I looked at his hand, still on her waist, then back at his face. Are you going to move your hand? I asked quietly. Or should I pretend I don't see it too? He pulled back instantly. Too late. Way too late. Babe, I can explain. Don't. My voice cut through his sentence like a blade. Don't call me that. Jessica stepped back. And no, Emma, it's not what you think. I laughed. Actually laughed. Wow, I said. You really picked the worst line possible. My heart was breaking. I could feel it. Every second. Every breath. But somehow, I wasn't falling apart. Not in front of them. How long? I asked. Neither of them answered. Of course. Cowards. How long? I repeated louder this time. Ethan ran a hand through his hair. It's complicated. I smiled. Cold. Empty. No, I said. It's actually really simple. I pointed between them. You lied. Then pointed at myself. And I believed you. Jessica looked like she might cry. Good. Let her feel something. It didn't mean for it to happen like this, she whispered. Oh, really? I stepped closer. Then how did you mean for it to happen? Silence. Again. Ethan stepped forward. Emma, please. Let's talk somewhere else. I shook my head. No. We're talking right here. Because for 3 years, I protected him, defended him, made excuses for him. Not tonight. People were starting to notice now. Glances. Whispers. Phones subtly turning in our direction. But I didn't care. Let them watch. Let them see. You missed my birthday, I said, staring straight at him. His face dropped. I was going to come. But you didn't. I tilted my head. You chose this instead. That hit him. I saw it. For the first time that night. He looked guilty. Too bad it was too late. I didn't plan this, he said quietly. I nodded. I know. That seemed to surprise him. You didn't plan to get caught. Jessica covered her mouth. Ethan flinched. And honestly, that felt good. I reached into my bag, pulled out the small gift box I had brought for him. Yeah, I was going to give it to him tonight. A watch. Engraved. For our future. Funny, right? I held it up for a second, then dropped it. Right between them. It hit the floor with a soft thud. But to me, it sounded like closure. Happy birthday to me, I said quietly. I turned around, started walking away. Heart pounding, legs shaking. vision blurred. But I didn't stop. Emma, wait. His voice chased after me. Footsteps behind me. Closer. Closer. Then a hand grabbed my wrist. I froze. Please, Ethan said, breathless. Don't leave like this. I slowly turned back. Looked down at his hand. Then up at his face. And that's when something inside me finally snapped into place. Not sadness. Not anger. Clarity. I gently pulled my hand away, looked him dead in the eyes, and said, "You already left." Then I walked away. For real this time. I didn't cry. Not in the elevator. Not in the Uber. Not even when I got back to my apartment. I just sat there, still in my dress, makeup slightly smudged, staring at nothing. It was weird. Thought heartbreak would feel louder, messier, more dramatic. But this felt numb. My phone buzzed. I didn't want to check it, but I did anyway. Ethan calling. Decline. Again. And again. And again. Then came the messages. Ethan, Emma, please just talk to me. Ethan, it's not what you think. Ethan, I messed up, I know, but I can fix this. I almost laughed. Fix this? You don't fix betrayal. You don't undo choosing someone else. Another notification popped up. But this time, it wasn't him. Jessica. I froze. Why was she texting me? I hesitated for a few seconds, then opened it. Jessica, Emma, I know you hate me right now. Jessica, but there's something you need to know. I rolled my eyes. Of course. Here comes the excuse. I was about to close the chat. Then another message came. Jessica, he didn't tell you about the money, did he? My fingers stopped moving. Money? What money? I stared at the screen, heart starting to beat faster. Not from sadness this time. From something else. Something colder. I typed back. Me, what are you talking about? 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. She was hesitating. Good. She should be. Then Jessica. Meet me tomorrow, Jessica. 10 a.m. Same cafe near your office. Jessica. If you don't come, you'll regret it. I frowned. Excuse me? Regret? Who does she think she is? I was about to ignore it. Block her. Move on. Then my phone buzzed again. A message from my bank. Transaction alert. $4,800 withdrawn. I sat up instantly. What? I didn't make any withdrawal. My heart started pounding now. Loud. Fast. Real. I opened my banking app. Scrolled through the transactions. And there it was. Multiple withdrawals. Over the past few weeks. Small at first. $200. $350. $500. Then bigger. Until tonight. $4,800. My hands went cold. This wasn't random. This wasn't a mistake. This was planned. Only 2 people had access to that account. Me and Ethan. Suddenly, everything Lily said, everything I saw tonight, everything Ethan had been hiding clicked. Not just cheating. Something worse. My phone buzzed again. Jessica. Jessica. Now do you understand? I stared at the message, jaw tightening. This wasn't about love anymore. This was about something else entirely. Something I didn't see coming. I slowly typed back. Me tomorrow. 10 Uhr morgens. Then I locked my phone. Sat there in silence. But this time, wasn't numb anymore. I was awake. Because if Ethan thought this was just another mistake he could apologize for, he had no idea what was coming next. The next morning, 10:02 a.m. Jessica was already there, sitting in the corner. No makeup, no smile, no fake friendliness. Just serious. I walked over. Sat down. Didn't say hi. Didn't pretend. Start talking. She took a deep breath, looked straight at me, and said something that made my blood run cold. Ethan's been using you for months. I didn't react. Not yet. Explain, I said. She leaned in slightly, voice low. He's in debt, Emma. My stomach dropped. Bad debt. How bad? I asked. Jessica hesitated, then said, over $60,000. Everything inside me went still. He didn't tell you. Because he needed your money. I clenched my jaw. So what, he just what? Started dating you too? Jessica shook her head immediately. No, that answer surprised me. No. I frowned. She looked straight into my eyes. And for the first time, I saw something real there. Not guilt. Fear. He didn't fall for me first. A pause. Then, he asked me to help him. Help him what? I whispered. Jessica swallowed. Then said, to get close to you. Silence. Absolute silence. My brain refused to process it. No. I shook my head slowly. That doesn't even make sense. She nodded. I know. But that's what this is.
Histoire daher.
Trying to find a lie. Any lie. But I couldn't. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Jessica's eyes dropped to the table. Her voice almost a whisper now. Because I didn't sign up for this. She looked back at me and said, and because you're not the only one he's using. I didn't speak. Not for a few seconds. Not even after Jessica finished that sentence. You're not the only one he's using. The words echoed in my head, over and over again. I should have been shocked, or angry, or broken. But instead, I felt something else. Focus. Cold. Sharp. Clear. I leaned back in my chair, crossed my arms, and looked straight at her. Prove it. Jessica blinked. What? If you're telling the truth, I said calmly, then prove it. Because I was done believing words. Done trusting emotions. Now, I wanted facts. Jessica hesitated, then slowly reached into her bag, pulled out her phone. I knew you wouldn't believe me, she said quietly. She unlocked it, opened a chat, turned the screen toward me. Ethan. My eyes scanned the messages. Ethan. She trusts you now, right? Ethan. Just keep things normal. Ethan. I need a few more weeks. My chest tightened. Scrolling. More messages. Ethan. I already got access to her account. Ethan, just don't mess this up. Ethan, after this we're done. Done. So that's what I was. A plan. A target. A transaction. I felt the anger rise this time. Slow. Controlled. Burning. But I didn't explode. No. Because anger makes you lose. And I wasn't going to lose. Not anymore. I looked back up at Jessica. Why show me this? Her voice was quiet. Because I didn't know it would go this far. I narrowed my eyes. You didn't know? Or you didn't care? That hit her. She flinched. I thought it was just flirting at first, she said. Then he started talking about money and you stayed. Silence. She didn't deny it. Good. At least one of us wasn't pretending anymore. I leaned forward. Here's the thing, I said. He didn't just lie to me. My voice dropped. Lower. Colder. He stole from me. Jessica nodded slowly. I know. Another silence. But this one was different. Not heavy. Strategic. Because in that moment, I wasn't thinking like a girlfriend anymore. I was thinking like someone who just got betrayed and was about to make sure it never happens again. Do you still talk to him? I asked. Jessica hesitated, then nodded. Yeah. Perfect. I exhaled slowly, then said, good. She frowned slightly. Why? I looked her dead in the eyes and said, because we're going to use that. She froze. Use it. I nodded. He thinks I don't know. A small pause. And that's exactly what we need. Jessica stared at me, confused, uneasy. What are you planning? I smiled, but there was no warmth in it. A lesson. Later that day, I sat in my apartment, laptop open, phone in my hand. Ethan had stopped calling, stopped texting. Interesting. Maybe he thought I needed time. Maybe he thought I'd calm down. Or maybe he was busy figuring out his next move. Too bad I was already 3 steps ahead. I opened my banking app again, changed every password, enabled every security layer. Done. No more access. No more control. Then I opened our old messages. Scrolled. Stopped. There it was. A voice note. From him. 2 weeks ago. I'd never do anything to hurt you, Emma. I hit play. Listen. then replayed it again. And that's when the idea fully formed. Not revenge. No. Something better. Exposure. That night, Jessica texted him, just like I told her to. Jessica. She's still upset, but she doesn't know anything. We waited. 5 minutes. 10 minutes. Then Ethan, good. Ethan, just keep her calm. Ethan, I need a few more days. I smiled. There it was. Proof. Jessica looked at me. What now? I locked my phone, looked back at her, and said, now we let him dig his own grave. She swallowed. And when he does? I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and gave her the answer he would never expect. We make sure everyone sees it. 2 days later, I texted him first. Yeah, I texted him. Even I had to pause for a second before hitting send. Because this was the part where most people mess up. When you're hurt, you either explode or disappear. But me? I was about to do something much more dangerous. Pretend. Me, can we talk? I stared at the screen. Heart steady. Hands calm. 3 seconds later, Ethan, Emma? Ethan, of course. I've been waiting for you to text me. Of course you have. I leaned back. Let a small smile form. Hooked. We agreed to meet that night. Same rooftop bar. Same place everything broke. Perfect. Before I left, I checked everything one last time. Phone. Charged. Backup recording app. Running.
Teeny clip me.
Hidden under my jacket. And most importantly, Jessica. She was already in position. Different table. Different angle. Watching. Are you sure about this? She had asked earlier. No, I told her honestly. But I'm doing it anyway. 8:58 p.m. I walked into the rooftop bar again. Same music. Same lights. Same city view. But I wasn't the same girl anymore. Ethan was already there. Standing. Waiting. Looking relieved. That almost made me laugh. Emma, he said as soon as he saw me. Stepping closer. Careful. Like I might disappear. Good. Be careful. I gave him a small smile. Soft. Controlled. Hey. That one word changed everything. I saw it in his face. Hope. Dangerous thing. I'm really glad you came, he said quickly. I've been trying to explain. I know. I cut in gently. And for a split second, he looked confused. I overreacted, I said quietly. Silence. Then, what? I looked down. Played the part perfectly. I didn't understand everything. My voice softened. Just enough. I shouldn't have left like that. And there it was. The shift. Ethan relaxed. Shoulders dropping. Breathing easier. Because in his mind, he was winning. You don't know how much that means to me, he said, stepping closer again. I let him. I would never hurt you, he added. That line again. Funny how liars always reuse their best lies. I nodded slowly. I believe you. And just like that, he was mine again. We sat down. Drinks arrived. Small talk at first. Safe. Normal. Like nothing ever happened. But underneath it, I was counting. Every word. Every reaction. Every lie. So, I said casually, what's been stressing you out lately? He sighed. Ran a hand through his hair. Hook. Work, life, everything, he said. I nodded. Money too. He froze. Just for a second. But I saw it. Yeah, he said slowly. Why? I shrugged. Looked away. Just feels like you've been distracted. He leaned in. Voice lower now. Emma, I didn't want to tell you this, but there it was. But what? I asked softly. He hesitated. Then said, I've been dealing with some financial stuff. I tilted my head slightly. How bad? He exhaled. Not great. Not great. You mean $60,000, right? I reached for his hand. Gentle. Supportive. How can I help? I asked. And that was the moment. Because I saw it in his eyes. Greed. He didn't even hide it well. I didn't want to ask you this, he said slowly. But I already knew what was coming. I just need a little more time. Time. Not honesty. Not apology. Time. To fix things, he added quickly. I nodded. smiled softly. Of course. Inside, I was already 10 steps ahead, because while he was busy lying to my face, everything he said was being recorded, and not just by me. Across the room Jessica was watching, phone in hand, camera angle perfect, and behind her 2 more people, quiet, observing, people Ethan didn't notice, people he definitely wouldn't expect. I leaned in slightly. One last question. Ethan, he looked at me, trusting, careless. If I didn't have money, a small pause, would you still be here? Silence, just for a second, but that second was everything. He smiled, too fast, too fake. Of course I would. And that was the final lie. I leaned back, smile still on my face. Good, I said softly, 'cause now I had everything I needed. I didn't rush it. Not yet. 'Cause moments like this, you don't just react. You time them. Ethan was still talking, still playing his role, still acting like the boyfriend who just needed a little help. I swear once I fix this, everything will go back to normal, he said. Normal. That word almost made me laugh. I slowly placed my glass down, looked at him, really looked at him. 3 years. 3 years of memories, laughter, plans, trust, all built on lies. You're right, I said quietly. He paused. I am. I nodded. Things will go back to normal. For a second, he smiled, relieved. Then I reached into my bag and took out my phone. His smile faded slightly. What are you doing? He asked. I didn't answer. I tapped the screen, scrolled, pressed play. His voice filled the air. I already got access to her account. Just don't mess this up. Silence. The music was still playing. People were still talking. But around our table, everything stopped. Ethan's face drained of color. Emma, I held up my hand. Wait. I tapped again. Another recording. She trusts you now, right? I need a few more weeks. Jessica stood up from across the room, walked closer. Phone still in her hand, camera still recording. Now people were noticing, turning, watching, whispering. Ethan looked between us, panic rising. You set me up, he whispered. I tilted my head slightly. No, a small pause. You did that to yourself. Jessica stepped beside me. I told you to stop, she said quietly. He stared at her. What are you doing? She didn't flinch this time. I'm done helping you. That hit him hard. And that's when the final piece walked in. 2 men, calm, professional, walking straight toward us. Ethan frowned. Who are they? I didn't answer. One of them spoke instead. Ethan Carter? He froze. Yeah, I'm with the bank's fraud investigation unit. And just like that, everything collapsed. What? Ethan laughed nervously. There must be some mistake. There isn't, the man said calmly. He pulled out a folder, opened it. Multiple unauthorized transactions. Accessing funds under false pretenses. Identity misuse. Each word hit like a hammer. Ethan looked at me. Real panic now. Emma, tell them this isn't. I looked him straight in the eyes. Same way he looked at me when he lied. And said, I don't know you anymore. Silence. That line broke him more than anything else. The second investigator stepped forward. We're going to need you to come with us. People were fully watching now. Phones out. Recording. Ethan stepped back. This is crazy. Emma, say something. I didn't move. Didn't blink. Didn't help. Because for the first time in 3 years, I wasn't choosing him. He looked around. Desperate. Lost. Then finally they took him. And just like that, he was gone. The rooftop slowly returned to normal. Music. Voices. Laughter. But I just stood there. Still. Breathing. Jessica looked at me. You okay? I thought about it. Really thought about it. Then I nodded. Yeah. And surprisingly, I meant it. Because this time I didn't lose anything. I just got the truth back. I picked up my bag. Turned to leave. But before I walked away, I stopped. Looked back at the place where everything started. Same rooftop. Same city, but a completely different ending. And for the first time in a long time, I smiled. 3 weeks later, life didn't magically become perfect. There was no dramatic glow-up.
No instant happiness.
No everything is amazing now moment. Instead, there was silence. The kind you don't notice at first. But slowly, you realize it's peaceful. I stopped checking my phone every 5 minutes. Stopped waiting for messages that never came. Stopped questioning my own worth. And that alone felt like freedom. Ethan was gone. Not just from my life, but from everything. His social media, deleted. Job, suspended. Reputation, ruined. Turns out, when the truth comes out, it doesn't whisper. Spreads. Fast. I didn't need to do anything. The evidence did it for me. Some people reached out. Friends, coworkers, even people I barely talked to. Are you okay? I'm so sorry. You didn't deserve that. And for the first time, I believed them. Because before, I thought love meant tolerating things, understanding everything, forgiving anything. Now, I knew better. Love doesn't make you feel small. It doesn't make you question yourself. And it definitely doesn't come with lies. I met Jessica again. Same cafe. Same table. But this time,
No tensión.
just honesty. I didn't expect you to show up, she said. I shrugged. I didn't expect you to tell the truth. She gave a small smile. Fair. There was a pause. Then she looked at me. Do you hate me? Good question. I thought about everything. The messages. The lies. The betrayal. Then I shook my head. No, she looked surprised. I don't trust you, I added calmly. That made her laugh. Soft. Real. Yeah, that makes sense. We didn't become friends again. Not like before. Some things don't go back. But we became something else. Honest. And sometimes, that's enough. That night, I stood in front of my mirror. Same apartment. Same girl. But not the same person. I looked at my reflection. Really looked this time. And for once, I didn't see someone who got betrayed. I saw someone who walked away. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. I almost ignored it. Almost. I opened the message. You don't know me. But I saw what happened that night. Not many people would have handled it like you did. If you ever want to start over, I'd like to take you out sometime. I stared at the screen, then smiled. Not because I needed someone new. Not because I was looking for love again. But because, for the first time, I had a choice. And this time, I wasn't choosing out of fear or loneliness. I was choosing myself. I locked my phone, set it aside, walked to the window, looked out at the city lights, and whispered something I never thought I'd say. I'm okay. And I was. 'Cause sometimes, the worst night of your life becomes the moment you finally wake up. 1 month later, I thought it was over. No more drama. No more secrets. No more Ethan. At least, that's what I told myself. Until that night, I was scrolling through my emails. Just routine. Work stuff. Spam. Nothing important. Then one subject line made me freeze. From Ethan. My fingers stopped, hovering over the screen. I shouldn't open it. I knew that. Some doors are better left closed. But curiosity, it's dangerous. And I clicked it. The email was short. No long apology.
No dramatic paragraphs.
Just honest. Or at least, felt that way. Emma, I know I don't deserve your time. I know I already lost everything. But there's one thing I never got to say. You weren't supposed to be part of the plan. First, it was just money. Just survival. But somewhere along the way, I actually fell for you. And that's what made everything worse. I didn't know how to stop. Not the lies. Not the debt. Not myself. I'm not asking for forgiveness. Just the truth. Ethan. I stared at the screen. For a long time.
No tears. No anger.
Just stillness. Funny, right? After everything he did. This was the most honest he'd ever been. I leaned back in my chair. Closed my eyes for a second. Did it change anything? No. Did it hurt? A little. Because the worst kind of betrayal is when part of it was real. I grabbed my phone, opened a new message, typed his name, paused. For a second, I thought about replying, asking questions, getting closure. But then I realized something. I didn't need it. Closure doesn't come from them, comes from you. I deleted the draft, closed the email, and just like that I chose silence. The next morning, I went for a walk. No makeup, no phone in my hand, just me and the world. People passed by, talking, laughing, living, and for the first time, I didn't feel like I was watching life from the outside. I was in it. My phone buzzed again. Same unknown number from before. Still thinking about that coffee? I smiled, not because I needed a new story, but because I was ready for a different one. I typed back, maybe. And this time, it wasn't about replacing the past. It was about starting fresh, on my terms, because in the end, Ethan didn't just teach me what love isn't. He taught me what I should never accept again. And that lesson was worth everything I lost. I almost canceled, not because I didn't want to go, but because I wasn't sure if I was ready to sit across from someone new, ready to smile again, ready to feel anything. I stood in front of my closet for 10 minutes, not looking for something impressive, not trying to look perfect, just something that felt like me. In the end, I chose simple. A soft white sweater, jeans, no heavy makeup, no pretending. 'Cause this time, I wasn't trying to be chosen. I was just showing up. The cafe was quiet, warm lights, soft music, the kind of place where conversations didn't need to be loud. I spotted him. First, sitting by the window, he looked up, saw me, and smiled. Not the kind of smile that tries too hard. Not the kind that hides something. Just real. Emma, he said, standing up slightly. I nodded. There was a small pause. Not awkward. Just new. I'm Daniel, he said. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Funny how simple words can feel so different when you actually mean them. We sat down.
No dramatic moment. No instant spark.
Just two people. Talking. So, he said, smiling lightly, do you always make people wait a month before replying? I laughed. Soft. Unexpected. Only when I'm deciding if they're worth it. He nodded. Fair. There was no pressure. No performance. No feeling like I had to prove anything. And that alone felt new. We talked about small things at first. Work. Favorite places. Music. Normal. Simple. Safe. Then he looked at me. A little more serious. I saw what happened that night, he said. There it was. The past. Still there. I nodded slowly. Yeah. He didn't push. Didn't ask too much. Just said, that must have been hard. Not what happened. Not why. Just understanding. I exhaled softly. It was. And that was enough. 'Cause sometimes, you don't need someone to fix your story. You just need them to respect it. Time passed quickly. Too quickly. We finished our drinks. But neither of us rushed to leave. So, Daniel said, do you believe in second chances? I looked at him. Thought about everything. Ethan. The lies. The pain. Then I shook my head gently. No, he raised an eyebrow slightly. No. I smiled. I believe in new choices. That made him smile. A little wider this time. I like that, he said. We stood up. Walked outside together. The night air was cool. Calm. No pressure, he said. But I'd like to see you again.
No rush. No expectation.
Just an option. And that's when I realized something. This didn't feel like falling. Felt like standing on my own. Choosing slowly, carefully, the right way. I looked at him. And for the first time in a long time, my answer wasn't based on fear or loneliness. It was simple. Yeah, I said. I'd like that too. And just like that, it wasn't the start of a new love story. It was the start of something better. A healthy one. Because healing doesn't happen all at once. It happens in moments like this. Quiet, honest, real. And this time, I was ready. A few weeks later, Daniel and I didn't become a couple overnight.
No labels. No rules.
No, what are we? Conversations. Just time. We met for coffee again. Then dinner. Then random walks that turned into long conversations. Felt easy. Too easy. And that was the problem. Because when something feels peaceful, after chaos, your mind starts looking for danger. Even when there isn't any. One night, we were sitting in his car. Parked near the river. City lights reflecting on the water. Quiet. Comfortable. He was talking about something, work, I think. But I wasn't really listening. Because my phone lit up. A notification. Unknown number. My heart dropped. For no reason. Or maybe, for a reason I didn't want to admit. Everything okay? Daniel asked. I blinked. Forced a small smile. Yeah. Lie. I turned the phone face down. Classic move. The same thing Ethan used to do. And suddenly everything shifted. Hey, Daniel said softly. You sure? I nodded quickly. Too quickly. I said I'm fine. Silence. That wasn't me. But it came out anyway. Daniel didn't argue. Didn't push. He just nodded slowly. Okay. And that made it worse. Because he respected my space. But I could feel it. The distance. The wall. And I built it. Later that night, I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. Replay. 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 The way I snapped. The way I shut down. That wasn't about him. That was about me. About fear. Because part of me was still waiting for things to go wrong. Still expecting another lie. Another betrayal. Another moment where everything falls apart. Even though Daniel had done nothing wrong. The next day I texted him. Not something casual. Not something safe. Something honest. Me, hey, can we talk? We met that evening. Same quiet cafe. He was already there. Calm. But I could see it. He felt it too. I'm sorry, I said before even sitting down. He looked at me. Not surprised. Just waiting. That wasn't about you, I added. I figured, he said gently. That made my chest tighten. I took a breath. I'm still learning how to trust again. There it was.
No pretending. No hiding.
Daniel nodded slowly. Yeah. No judgment. No pressure. Just understanding. But I don't want to mess this up, I said quietly. He leaned back slightly. You're not. I frowned. It feels like I am. He shook his head. No, a small pause. You're being real. That hit differently. Real isn't perfect, he added. I let that sink in. Because somewhere along the way, I thought I had to be healed to deserve something good. But maybe, healing doesn't mean being done. Maybe it means being honest. Even when it's messy. I don't need you to be perfect, Daniel said. Just like that. I just need you to be honest with me. And for the first time, that didn't scare me. It felt safe. We didn't fix everything that night. There was no big resolution. Just two people. Trying. Talking slower. Understanding deeper. Choosing. More carefully. As we walked out, he looked at me. Still want to see me again? He asked lightly. I smiled. This time, no hesitation. Yeah. 'Cause this time, it wasn't about starting over. It was about building something real. Something that doesn't break. At the first sign of fear. And maybe, that's what healing actually looks like. Not perfect. Not easy. But honest. And worth it. It didn't happen on a special day.
No anniversary.
No big event. No dramatic setting. Just a normal evening. We were at his place. Takeout on the table. Half-watched movie playing in the background. Neither of us really paying attention to it. Because somewhere between the conversations, the laughs, and the quiet moments something had changed. Not suddenly. Not loudly. But steadily. Like something that grew. Without asking for permission. I noticed it when I reached for my drink, and my hand brushed his. Small moment. But I didn't pull away. And neither did he. We just stayed there. For a second longer than usual. Then he looked at me. Not curious. Not unsure. Just present. You ever think about what this is? He asked. There it was. The question people usually overcomplicate. I smiled slightly. Sometimes. He nodded. Yeah, me too. No pressure. No urgency. Just honesty. I leaned back into the couch. Thought about everything. Where I was before. Who I used to be. And who I was becoming now. I don't want to rush it, I said slowly. He nodded immediately. Me neither. Another pause. Comfortable. Safe. But I also don't want to pretend this is. Nothing, I added. He let out a small breath. Yeah, same. And that's when I realized something. This wasn't about labeling it. It was about understanding it. I like you, I said. Simple. Clear. Real. He smiled. I like you too. And somehow, that felt bigger than any dramatic confession. Do you feel like, he hesitated slightly, we're moving toward something more? I didn't answer right away. Not because I was unsure, but because I wanted to say it right. Yes, I said finally. And I meant it. But then I added something I wouldn't have said before. I just need to go slow. He didn't even pause. Then we go slow.
No negociation. No frustration.
No why. Just respect. And that's when it hit me. This is what it's supposed to feel like. Not confusing. Not exhausting. Just clear. We didn't define it with a label that night. No boyfriend. No girlfriend. But we defined something more important. The way we were choosing each other. With intention. With patience. With honesty. Later that night, I stood by the window, looking out at the city again. Same lights. Same view. But a completely different feeling. He walked up behind me. Not too close. Not overwhelming. Just enough. You okay? He asked softly. I nodded. Yeah. And this time, there was no hesitation. 'Cause I wasn't just okay. I was at peace. I turned to look at him. And for the first time I didn't wonder if it would last. I didn't look for signs of something going wrong. I didn't question myself. I just stayed. And sometimes that's the biggest step of all. Not running. Not overthinking. Just choosing to stay. When it finally feels right. A few months later. Life didn't feel like a story anymore.
No dramatic haze. No pamfelos.
Just balance. Daniel and I never had a big moment. Where everything suddenly became official. No grand confession. No perfect scene. Instead, we built it quietly. Day by day. Conversation by conversation. Choice by choice. And one morning, I realized something strange. I wasn't thinking about the past anymore. Not Ethan. Not the betrayal. Not the night everything broke. It didn't hurt. It didn't sting. It just didn't matter. I was making coffee in my kitchen. Daniel sitting at the table. Half asleep. Scrolling through his phone. Morning, I said. He looked up. Smiled. Morning. Simple. Normal. Real. And that's when it hit me. This is what I wanted all along. Not intensity. Not drama. Peace. Later that day, I found something I hadn't touched in months. A small box. Hidden in the back of my drawer. The watch. The one I bought for Ethan. Picked it up. Turned it over in my hand. For our future. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, but because that version of me, she believed in something that didn't exist. And that's okay, because she didn't know better. But I do now. That night I stood by the window again. Same view. Same city lights. Daniel walked up beside me. "Whatcha thinking about?" he asked. I looked out for a second longer, then said, "The girl I used to be." He didn't interrupt. Didn't guess. Just waited. She thought love meant holding on. No matter what, I continued. I paused, then smiled slightly. Turns out, love sometimes means letting go. He nodded slowly. Yeah, he said. Another quiet moment. Then I added something I never thought I'd say. I'm glad it happened. He looked at me. Surprised. Everything? He asked. I nodded. Yeah. Because without it, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't know my worth. I wouldn't know what to walk away from. I wouldn't know what to choose. I turned to him. And this time I didn't hesitate. Do you want to stay? I asked softly, not out of fear, not out of need, but out of choice. He smiled. Yeah. And just like that, it wasn't a question anymore. I looked back out at the city, took a slow breath, and realized something powerful. I didn't lose love. I lost the wrong version of it. And in doing that, I found the right one. But more importantly, I found myself. Clapperboard final message. Chodong ket video, easy viral sometimes. The person who breaks your heart is the same person who wakes you up. Not because they loved you right, but because they showed you what love should never feel like. So if you're hurting right now, don't rush to fix it. Don't rush to replace it. Just take your time. Learn. Grow. Because one day you won't just heal. You'll become someone who never accepts less again. If my story touched you, please like, subscribe, and share. Your support gives me the strength to keep telling these stories. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.